My coworker always stole my food in the office fridge, but he soon learned not to mess with me. Everyone has their little routines. Mine was simple. Every evening, I'd make myself a nice lunch for the next day. Sometimes it was a turkey sandwich stacked with cheese and lettuce. Sometimes pasta with homemade sauce. Sometimes leftover curry that tasted even better overnight. Packing lunch wasn't just about saving money, it was comforting. It meant that no matter how chaotic work got, I had a little piece of home waiting for me at noon. The office fridge wasn't anything fancy. White, slightly dented, humming louder than it should. But it did its job. At least, it was supposed to. For the first few weeks at my new job, everything was fine. Then, one Wednesday, I opened the fridge at noon to find my lunch missing. I checked every shelf, every drawer. Nothing. Maybe I'd forgotten it at home? No, because the empty reusable bag I'd carried it in was still under my desk. Someone had taken it. I ended up eating stale pretzels from the vending machine that day, annoyed, but willing to chalk it up to a mistake. But the next day, my chicken wrap vanished. The day after that, my pasta was gone too. It wasn't a mistake, it was a pattern. Someone in the office was stealing my food, and that someone was about to regret it. At first, I didn't know who it was. The office was full of suspects. The chatty sales team buzzing around the break room, the marketing group who treated the fridge like their personal snack bar, and the quiet IT guys hovering near the coffee machine. I started keeping watch. I'd happen to pass through the break room at odd times, lingering near the fridge. That's when I noticed something interesting. Whenever I walked in, one guy, Greg, always seemed to shut the fridge quickly and scuttle out. Greg was in accounting. Mid-30s, balding, with a permanent smirk like he knew something the rest of us didn't. He had a habit of talking over people in meetings and bragging about how he never wasted time cooking. Cooking, right? I started paying closer attention. Sure enough, on the days my lunch disappeared, Greg always looked extra satisfied at his desk afterward. He'd lean back in his chair, rubbing his stomach like he'd just had a feast fit for a king. That smug expression lit a fire in me. I decided to give him the benefit of the doubt, at least once. One afternoon, I casually mentioned in the break room, loud enough for Greg to hear. Man, it's so weird. My lunches keep disappearing. Must be some mix-up. Hopefully, whoever's taking them realizes and stops. Greg didn't look up from stirring his coffee. Maybe you just forgot it at home. I didn't, I said firmly. It keeps happening. He smirked. Well, maybe label it better. That was all I needed to know. He wasn't just stealing my food. He was mocking me about it. I wasn't ready to go nuclear yet. First, I wanted to rattle him. The next day, I packed a decoy lunch, a sandwich with just 2 slices of bread and nothing inside. I wrapped it carefully so it looked full and delicious. Sure enough, by noon it was gone. From across the office, I watched Greg unwrap it at his desk, expecting a feast. When he discovered nothing but bread, his face twisted into confusion, then annoyance. He glanced around the room, but I kept my head down, eating a backup granola bar like nothing happened. Step 1, accomplished, but I wasn't satisfied. Step 2 was chili, not the comforting kind, the nuclear kind. I made a batch loaded with extra hot ghost peppers, the kind that make your tongue feel like it's been dunked in acid. I packed it in a nice container, topped with shredded cheese, and labeled it simply, "Lunch, do not touch." By noon, it was gone. At 12:15, Greg came back to his desk with a suspiciously red face. By 12:20, he was guzzling water straight from the cooler. By 12:30, he vanished into the bathroom for a solid 20 minutes. When he finally emerged, pale, sweaty, and miserable, I nearly burst out laughing. Step 2, accomplished. But still, I wasn't done. The chili had been satisfying, but it wasn't permanent. I wanted to expose him completely. So I bought a small motion-activated camera. Nothing fancy, just a discreet little gadget I could tuck on a shelf, angled perfectly at the fridge. The next morning, I packed a regular lunch, leftover lasagna, still steaming when I slid it into the container. By noon, it was gone. That night, I checked the footage, and there he was. Greg, glancing over his shoulder, opening the fridge and pulling out my lunch. He didn't hesitate, didn't even check the label. He just smirked, tucked it under his arm, and walked out like it was his birthright. I had him. The next morning, I waited until the office was full. Then, at precisely 10 a.m., I plugged my laptop into the big screen in the conference room. Hey everyone, I called out casually. Quick question. Anyone know who's been stealing my lunches? People turned, murmuring. Greg chuckled under his breath. I clicked play. The footage rolled. The entire office watched as Greg stole my lasagna in crystal clear detail. The room erupted. Laughter, gasps, muttered curses. Greg's face went crimson. This is an invasion of privacy, he stammered. No, I said sweetly. This is proof. Greg stormed into the manager's office, but it was too late. The damage was done. Word spread like wildfire. From that day forward, Greg wasn't Greg from accounting. He was the fridge thief. Everywhere he went, people made jokes. Hey, Greg, what's for lunch? Or should we hide ours first? Careful, don't leave your coffee unattended. Greg might take it. The humiliation stuck. Within a month, he requested a transfer to another branch. By the end of the quarter, he was gone completely. The day he cleaned out his desk, I brought in a special lunch: steak, roasted potatoes, fresh salad, the works. I placed it carefully in the fridge, labeled with my name in big, bold letters. And this time, when noon rolled around, it was still there. I ate slowly, savoring every bite. The office fridge was safe again, and best of all, my revenge was complete. Like and subscribe. Share if this has ever happened to you or to someone you know.